Automotive, always honest answers.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up, the new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh yeah, this is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks, exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better. Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Welcome into the LIBA Business Hour, sponsored by Nats to Tasseling, highlighting local independent businesses in and around Lincoln on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here's your host, LIBA Executive Director Travis Filing and Gary Tharnish.
And good morning. You're listening to the LIBA Business Hour on 93.7 The Ticket. I am Travis, the CEO at LIBA, and Gary, my partner, he is out today recovering from surgery, so I think he might be back next week. I don't know. He's kind of got that, he had some surgery on his neck. He's got that little whisper voice going on. So, as always, our fill-in host is Pam Dingman. How you
morning.
doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Our guest today is Jim Ballard from James Arthur Vineyards. And how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. It's great to be here.
Oh, I'm glad you made it in. So before we get into the vineyards, I have a question. I need just a personal opinion. So I have this friend of mine, right? And don't see her very often, but we probably talk once or twice a month. And I just saw her and she's wearing an engagement ring. And I had no idea. Right. So how do you start these conversations with somebody going, I've talked to you like 40 times over the last 6 months, and now there's this engagement ring. How do you start that conversation?
That's interesting because in my experience and being at the winery, we get a lot of engagements out there.
Do you?
And when a young lady gets engaged, there's just an aura about her. And usually, you know, you look at her and that light hits that ring and it glows and they want to talk about it. And so I'm surprised she didn't tell you.
Well, let's go right to the source, maybe.
Y'all are killing me. You're just killing me today. Just like.
So come on, tell us about it. I didn't just out
about
you.
The details of it. You kind of did just out me. Well, so here's
your mom's not listening going,
no,
what?
My mom's not listening, but like Mr. Dwayne is listening, and I'm sure he's like laying on the floor of the living room in the fetal position right now. So yeah, he did. I mean, we've been dating for about 3.5 years, and you know, he decided he wanted to wife me, and it was a little bit of a shocker to me. And so since you guys have known me for a long time, you know, I don't really do shockers.
Right.
You know, I have a plan. I'm always on a mission. And then, you know, somebody slides this box with a rock across the table at me, and I'm like, what is this? But then I found out that Big Jim here, he like does weddings out at the vineyard.
Do you really?
He officiates.
It's amazing what you can do or get certified for with $50 in the internet. it truly is. And I'm going to say, when I heard Pam got engaged, I looked around to make sure nothing was falling or like the world was still spinning, and it was like, oh my gracious. So, but no, I was excited for. That's awesome.
That is fantastic. So congratulations, Dwayne. Congratulations.
Thank you.
But I am available. I mean, I can give you a good deal on that ceremony. So just let me know.
There we go.
We need to get our act together.
Well, very good. So, Jim, I was kind of reading through the website. I know I moved here in 98, and you've kind of always been on the shelf since I've been here. So tell us about the vineyard. How did it get started?
You bet. We actually just celebrated 27 years. So we opened in September of 1997. And when people ask me about, well, how in the world did you you get a vineyard going in Nebraska and in Raymond, Nebraska, of all places. And really, the true answer is it's basically a hobby that got a little out of control is what happened. My father-in-law was James Arthur Jeffers, and he had the land out there, and he was in meatpacking. He owned a meatpacking plant in Omaha, and he retired, sold the business, but found this beautiful property just north of Lincoln here near Raymond. And originally, even though he's retired, he never did. And Pam knew Jim very well, and he never did retire. He always had something going on, and he was going to do a You Pick Apple program. But at the time, I was in graduate school, and I had a professor that had a small vineyard near Plattsmouth. Always talked about growing grapes and making wine. I thought, well, that'd be kind of cool to do someday. Make some wine for family, friends, and try not to kill anybody, but just have some fun with it. And so one day I approached him and said, "Hey, you care, if we put some grapevines in the ground?" And he looked at me funny. But being a son-in-law, he always looked at me a little funny. But between him and I and some nephews, got in our hands and knees, planted 100 grapes, had no idea what we're doing, how we're doing, and read a few books, asked a few questions, had a great growing season. Next year came around, they were still alive. We thought, we're experts. Let's throw a few more 100 vines in the ground, and started visiting some other wine areas. Missouri has a great wine industry. Iowa's getting going. There was actually a winery that was just starting in Nebraska up near Norfolk and Pierce, Nebraska. And so one thing led to another. And one day Jim came to me and said, if they can do it in all these other places, why not Raymond, Nebraska? So we started putting all the wheels in motion, getting other people as crazy as us to grow grapes in this area. And like I said, opened our doors in September of 97 and haven't looked back since.
Wow. That's incredible. Because I always laugh when, when California started producing wine and France kind of looked down their nose, and then, California starts doing exceptionally well. And then they start kind of looking down their noses at everybody else. And next thing you know, they're doing it in Australia, they're doing it in Nebraska, and all the wine snobs go, "Oh, you can't produce a good wine in Nebraska or Oregon or anything like that."
In fact, I think the vineyard that Jim talked about that's north of here actually has a framed letter from Extension saying, "Don't even try it."
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are like, there's no way you can do this in
don't do
Nebraska.
it.
But what we did is we found varieties that were meant to be grown here from the University of Minnesota or up in Cornell University in upstate New York, and they're winter hardy. So we're not growing things like Cabernet and Chardonnay and things that a lot of people are familiar with. We're growing things like Edelweiss and St. Croix and Lacrosse that will survive up to 20 to 30 degrees below zero. So they're meant to be grown in this area. And we decided early on that we were going to grow what was meant to be grown here and do the very best job that we could making wines out of those grapes. And, you mentioned we don't get it as much because I think boutique wineries, farm wineries become more and more common. But when we first opened, we'd get a lot of folks that are like, "You can't grow grapes in Nebraska. You can't make wine." Or these are some of my favorite stories. I'd have people walk in from California and they have got great wine there. And they would look at me and say, "Well, first thing they say is, well, I'm from California." So I'd have some fun and say, "Oh, grapes, do they grow grapes?" Oh, yeah. They do that Pinot Noir. I love that Pinot Noir. You have some fun with it. Wine, our whole approach to this is and I always say in moderation. Wine should be just part of a fun, everyday, healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it's great with food. It's great conversation with family, friends. You can just sit down and enjoy some wine and just have a good time. And it shouldn't be pretentious. Growing up, the only time we ever had wine in our house was during a major holiday. Wine can be part of every day. I mean, we do some fun stuff at the winery. We do every March we do a junk food and wine pairing.
Oh, nice.
And so we find junk food and we pair it with wine. And there's our favorite. We do a wine called Cure. It's a semi-sweet blush that goes incredibly well with Cool Ranch Doritos. It's incredible. So
are you serious? That sounds so weird.
Wine should be fun. It should be fun. It should be enjoyed.
That would be fun.
I think the thing that I've always appreciated about Jim and the Ballard family is everybody's involved in the business, and it doesn't really seem like people are dragging in going like, "Oh, I got to work in the family business today." Everybody's having a good time, and that's whether I run into Bo acting in a murder mystery with some assigned character that's always intriguing, or whether I run into Ben downtown doing wine tastings with people or Barb in the store. It's just, and it doesn't really matter whether you're downtown or out at the vineyard. everybody is all in and having a great time.
It is a true family business, and it always has been. And it's funny because as the kids get older, they're getting more involved in the business. And but when they were small, I would always say, "Hey, I'm heading over to the winery to check on something," and it'd be just like cricket. Because anytime they went with me to the winery, they usually ended up staying 2 or 3 hours helping me do something. But they've learned a lot of valuable lessons and a great work ethic, and that's, I think, one of the wonderful things about a small family business. There's a lot of challenges. People don't realize the challenges that accompany that a family business. And like you said, Pam, it's a lot of fun. It really is. And working with my kids and with Barb, my wife, and other family members, but and we make it fun, but there's a lot of hard work that goes into it too. And sometimes people don't see that as well. They think that we're just out the winery, eating bonbons and drinking wine all day or something like that. But there's a lot of, they don't see those 16, 17 hour, harvest days. Or like this morning, I was up at 7:30 because we've got a wedding reception this afternoon. We had to go set up for the wedding reception, get the tables because they were going to, it's little things like that. And I'm not complaining. I mean, that's just part of it, because there's a lot of great blessings that come from owning your own business as well. But and what we've decided and early on, we looked at it. I knew people were going to be interested in wine. They're going to be curious about Nebraska wine and grapes, and we're going to sell wine. But really, and it took me a little while to figure this out, but really what we sell out there is an experience.
Yeah.
We sell an experience. I mean, when people come out for our live music or even like the private party today, or like Pam mentioned, murder mysteries, or, just the names of our wines and how everything's named after our family members and some of the animals in the family and that type of thing. But that's all an experience. And what we try to provide out there is just the best possible experience possible. And the wine's just part of that experience.
And I went to an event, I don't know, probably 3 months ago, and I go walking in the door and see you working behind the bar, and it's one of those, that's what I love about small business is we do it all. You're the guy in there probably cleaning the bathrooms or setting up the tables and working the bar. And that's just part of having
it's just part of the business. And one of our philosophies is that anybody that works, with us or for us, we're not going to ask them to do anything that we haven't already done or that we continue, we still do. And so, and when people see that and they see you working behind the bar or cleaning or setting up, I mean, it just makes them feel like they're part of that and that they're willing to do that as well.
Yeah. And how many employees do you have now?
We have at the winery, there's about 7 full-time.
Okay.
And then as Pam mentioned, we have a store downtown, we have a tasting room, and then we also have the From Nebraska gift shop downtown. And we have, actually Barb is right now our only full-time employee down there. I make her, somebody's got to pay the bills, right? I mean, but we have a lot of part-time help and a lot of seasonal help. And like Pam said, our family's intricately involved in that as well. So, that's the other thing about owning a business, and you all have been small business owners. It's not just you. I mean, you're responsible for those other families as well.
Right.
And we don't take that lightly. I mean, that's very important to us that those folks that, and I hate to say workforce, they work with us and they're part of our family. But we're responsible for their families as well. And so that's something that we always have in the back of your mind.
So is there like seasons for, it kind of like, I mean, you're kind of a farmer, not kind of a farmer. You're a farmer.
Yeah, we're a Nebraska farm winery. That's how we're classified.
Yeah. Okay. So do you plant it? Well, you don't really plant, but tell us.
Sure.
Before I ask dumb questions, like I just started.
I'm just gonna let you keep going. You keep going.
Well, you don't plant them.
There's a season. We do planting. We haven't planted in a couple years, but we plant usually in the spring. In May is when we do a planting. A grapevine, it's not like a row crop, anything like that you have to plant year in, year out. Once you plant it, it's going to continue to grow, save for unless bad weather events or something terrible happens and you lose that plant. But right now, this is kind of our slower time of the year in the vineyard. We're getting ready to start pruning. In fact, they just started pruning this week, and that's very, very important. It's important. And I always said that great wine is made in the vineyard, and so we put a lot of time, effort, and resources into making sure we grow the very best grapes possible. And so we start pruning here when it's nice and warm in Nebraska, January, February. And then the growing season really starts in May, end of April, 1st of May. We've got about 130 to 140 day growing season on our grapes. And then we'll touch those plants at least 7 or 8 times throughout the year, whether it's pruning, sucker, pulling, leaf removal, anything that we do out there. And then harvest usually starts when it's nice and cool here in Nebraska. Middle of August is when we start picking grapes. And then the winemaking starts immediately as the grapes get processed. We immediately start turning that into wine. And right now in the cellar, we're filtering and getting everything ready to bottle here in the spring or after the first of the year. In the tasting room, this is actually probably our busiest time of the year in terms of wine sales. We're selling a lot of wine for the holidays, but in terms of just foot traffic, that's like any business like ours, retail business, from about Memorial Day to Labor Day is when we're going to see most of our foot traffic. And that's when we really get to meet people from all over the world, which is really cool. So our slowest time of the year is probably January, February. And that's when Barb and I try to get away and usually our trips revolve around wine or the shop downtown doing gift buying or whatever the case may be. But no, that's when we're kind of the slowest in terms of people.
So, Jim, how did you teach yourself? And I know you also do cider, right? That's kind of a newer thing. How did you teach yourself the chemistry of this?
That's a great question.
Because there's a lot of chemistry.
That
in
is
it.
a
It's
great
not
question.
casual.
And you're looking at a guy, all my degrees are in journalism.
Yeah.
And that the reason for that is because I didn't have to take any math or science in college. I did not take any math or science courses. And like you said, there's a little bit of science involved in winemaking. Basically, I went to some classes, training sessions around the country, read a lot of books, asked a lot of questions. Some of it's just trial and error in terms of the winemaking process. And a lot of the chemistry is real basic chemistry. I remembered some titrating from high school. So, we titrate things like that. But to me, winemaking is about 50% art and about 50% science. And that science is we got to make sure, before we harvest those grapes, we're checking acids, we're checking pH, we're the integrity of the grape, the sugars. I mean, there's a lot of chemistry that goes into that. Even after you harvest the grapes, while you're doing the fermentation, you're checking things, you're tasting, you're smelling, and then you get to a point where you're measuring alcohols and you're still measuring sulfites and things like that. So there is a lot of chemistry. And if you don't pay attention to that, you can run into a lot of problems. But the art part is the mixing, the matching, the blending, the creating wines that people are going to truly enjoy. And I have some friends in the business that sometimes they put so much focus in on that chemistry part of it that they kind of forget about the art, or vice versa. You put so much attention on, I don't need to check anything, I'm just going to make this great wine. Well, you can, like I said, run into a lot of major problems. And so I think there's a nice balance there. And I'm still learning. I'm always learning about the winemaking process and always trying new things. Like you said, the cider, we're always looking at new markets and new wines. Our latest one was and we can talk a little bit about this, but a lot of our wines are named after the grape, like Edelweiss and St. Croix. Those are the names of the grapes, like Chardonnays, Cabernets. But we also have what we call fanciful names. And so we have a lot of fun names, like Eden's Blush is the first one we came up with, and that's our daughter. So the wine's named after her, and her two older brothers said,
Are we allowed to say wine is super cute, by the way? I don't know.
Well, my favorite story with that is, after we named Eden's Blush, and she was like 3 or 4 years old, I was at the grocery store one day, and we're going down the liquor aisle, and she goes, "Look, Dad, there's my favorite wine. I love Eden's Blush." Like, this child services around or something. I'd be quiet. But it is a super cute wine. But her brother said, "Well, why does she always get everything? You must love her more." And I said, "You're right." But no, they got their wine named after them called Two Brothers. So there's a lot of fun, that's part of that experience is all the different wines and what they're named after. But I don't even remember where I was going with that story. But, that's something that is important to us, is to make the very best wines that people are going to like. I mean, I can make wine that I only like, and we'd go broke real quick because I'm one of those guys. I'll drink anything put in front of me. I mean, it's sweet, dry, red, white. I want to try it all. But in Nebraska here, about 70% of everything we sell is on the sweeter side. My preference is a dry red. I mean, with dinner and things of that nature. So if I only made dry reds that I like to drink, 70% of our wines we sell, we wouldn't make it very far. So there's a little thing called cash flow that's nice to have in a business. So
yeah,
we
that's
want to
kind
make
of handy.
we want to make wine that's going to move and that people are going to enjoy and they're going to buy. But so when we make a wine, I keep that in mind that it may not be my cup of tea, but I'm going to make something that people are going to love and enjoy, and hopefully go out and buy some and share with family and friends.
So how many different wines do you have? Because you have several.
Way too many. No, we have right now in our tasting card. And right now we're at our peak because we bottled, during harvest, we pretty much have to have everything out of the tanks because we just don't have enough room for the new juice coming in. And so we started bottling August, finished bottling in August, September. So right now we're at the fullest we're going to be with our inventory. And I probably have 23 wines on the list.
Oh, wow.
So I tell people, if you can't find a wine you like at 23 wines, then I'm not doing my job very well. But no, I know I was going with that story, Pam, because what we have, I came out with a wine about a year ago called Bossy's Sister. It was named after my sister. Because she was always like, well, you naming wines after your animals, after this, that, why can't you name a wine after me? I said, all right, here you go. So it's Bossy's Sister, but that's been so popular that we decided to bring the rest of the family out this year. And so we've got Crazy Aunt and Fun Uncle and Bratty Brother. And so it's a family series. So it's always things like that, creating new markets, creating new wines for people to try. And it may take off and it may not. So there's some things that we've tried that have just been wildly successful and we continue to do them. And there's some things that we've tried that didn't go over so well. And so you're always adjusting. You're always, like I said, looking at new markets, looking at new things. If you're standing still, then you're not growing. So that's one thing we really try to do. And that's part of the ciders too. We started doing ciders. I mentioned that Jim had put some apple trees in for years. We didn't really do anything with those. They went to the donkeys and the horses, and people would come out and pick apples, and not, instead of paying us for the apples, they'd make apple crisp. So I ate a lot of apple crisp, which was a good deal. But about 7 years ago, we started doing hard cider, and because there was kind of a market that was taking off for that, and we're still doing that. So, you're always looking at new markets, new things, new ideas, and we've got some things in the works, and hopefully we can pull them off down the road.
Well, and there seems to be so many trends, and they're here today, gone tomorrow. You see beer with fruit flavors, and then they're gone, and then they're back, and then you see ciders, and you see seltzers, and you see all these different things. How do you know which trend to jump on and which to stay away from?
It's funny because here in the Midwest, and what I've read, and it's not just our business but other businesses, usually we're at least a year and a half to 2 years behind what's happening on the each end of the country. And so we've tried a few things that maybe we're just a little head of the curve. And one was canned wine. And so we had canned wine, but part of the problem here in the Midwest, so you take a bottle of wine and that's 2 cans.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at, a bottle of wine, let's say it's $17, and you got 2 cans. People are used to around here buying, not that I do this, but buying 24 packs of whatever Busch Light or whatever, whether it's a certain price. When you look at a can, you think a certain price. And when I was putting, a price tag about $20 for a 6-pack or whatever, which is actually still a very good deal, it just didn't resonate. So we ended up selling a lot of our canned wine for very, very cheap, losing money on it just so we can move it through. But it's things like that. You just never know, but unless you try them. So, so like canned wine is something. We're making a wine right now called an orange wine, which is very popular in Europe. I don't think it's caught on in Nebraska yet. So we'll kind of keep doing that one, keeping it in our back pocket. So I try to look at trends and what's happening. And sometimes, like I said, it works very well here in the Midwest, but sometimes it's not so much.
Well, we have a break coming up here, so we're going to run to break, and then when we come back, we want to talk a little bit more about harvesting and wine and the gift shop and everything else. So we're on with Jim Ballard. You're listening to 93.7 The Ticket in the LIBA Business Hour.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hello. Thanks.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Aloe Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela. They let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit aloefiber.com to switch today.
'Tis the season to raise a little Cane with Raising Cane's. Spread joy with craveable chicken finger meals and treat everyone on your nice list to a Cane's gift card or our beanies, socks, mugs, and more. Happy holidays from Raising Cane's. One love.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh yeah, this is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting book. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous. 5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
Back to the LIBA Business Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This segment sponsored by Integrated Behavioral Health Services.
Hey, we're rolling in on the second half of the show here, and I really wanted to talk about the gift shop because I love the Nebraska. I just love the Nebraska gift shop. Everything's from Nebraska. I mean, you guys do baskets. There's things you can get there that you don't see anywhere else. There's the Christmas part. How did that all kind of happen?
That's a great question, and that's a fun story as well. Back and the Pinnacle Bank Arena was just opening up, and I thought, even though we're real close to Lincoln with the winery, it would probably be good to have like a tasting room or some sort of presence in the Haymarket. And so I started looking around at different availability, and everything was so expensive, and it just didn't quite work in. There was the From Nebraska gift shop, and at the time, the owner, her name was Connie Mahaney. She had wine from every single winery in Nebraska. And so she had a little tasting room down there. And I said, so I went down there and I said, would you be interested in just renting this part out? We can only sell our wine, so we couldn't sell all the other Nebraska wine by state law, but would you be interested in renting out this space? And she looked at me and said, well, I'm thinking about selling the whole store. And I'm like, interesting. So I went back and Barb and I talked about it, and one thing led to another. We ended up buying that shop, the From Nebraska gift shop. Oh my gracious, about 11 years ago. I think it might be even 12 years ago this spring. And that's where my wife Barb is now most of the time. And she's done an incredible job of growing that shop. And it is cool. You don't realize how many incredible Nebraska products there are. And we sell, if it's made in Nebraska, about Nebraska, or from Nebraska, you can find it there. And then during COVID, and we started the process actually before COVID, but during COVID, we expanded. Nothing like expanding your business during a pandemic, right? But there was a licorice store right next to us, and they moved out. And so we took over their space as well. And one of the things that Barb had noticed was that when, especially travelers, and being in Lincoln because of government and education, we get a lot of people from around the world that visit, and they would come to the store. And sometimes they would, we have all traveled, and you always want to go and get something for kids or spouse or whatever, just or memento from where you're visiting. But one thing we noticed is that they didn't always want to buy something in Nebraska. They just wanted some gifts. And so we decided to turn the other half into a traditional gift shop, but it's kind of a high-end gift shop. And then part of that is a year-round Christmas store, which is really cool. And our Christmas store actually is probably our best profit center of the whole business. People love Christmas. And we actually thought about turning that whole site into a Christmas store year round, but we decided to go with a gift shop and make Christmas part of it. But it is a beautiful store. And we were just talking off air, but I think, since a lot of the gift shops in Lincoln have closed down, we may be the only one, or one of the only, probably the largest gift shop here in Lincoln. And Barb has done an incredible job with merchandising, getting the right things in to sell. Sometimes she'll bring something in, I'm like, that'll never sell. And all of a sudden it's gone. And it's like, you know what? I'm just going to let you do your thing. And it's been a lot of fun. And it's a great location. Being close to the stadium, all the hotels down in the Haymarket. Haymarket is just an incredible place to be right now. It's just so much fun to be down there. But the thing I enjoy most about the store is that we get to meet people from all over the world. And in fact, one day I was working a couple years ago, and I was helping out downtown, and it was like a 4 or 5 hour period. I met somebody from 5 different countries.
Oh, wow.
And their stories are incredible. And it's fun to listen to why they're here. And then we get to share with them about Nebraska. And I was born and raised in Nebraska, and Barb was born in Iowa, but I don't hold that against her. But she was basically raised in Nebraska. And so we love Nebraska, and we love everything about Nebraska. And we've never strayed too far from home. And now it's fun to share, our story and about our state, and about our, our stories about how growing up here and all the great things that Nebraska has to offer, including the wine.
And it's funny because we actually got a box from the From Nebraska gift shop from our accountant, because every year, you get gifts from all of our vendors and whatnot that we work with at our business. And then it's always nice, but it's never really had an impact on me. But then we got this one. I'm like, oh, how cool is this? I didn't even know you guys did the boxes and shipped them out. And it's just arrived on my doorstep one day. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, this time of the year, with Christmas, we get a lot of business to business. In fact, we had one business we just got mailed out last week. We did 270 packages that went around primarily in the United States, but even into Canada and Mexico, even though the Canadian ones came back because I guess they're on strike or something in Canada. So we got all these boxes, like 13 boxes back. It's like, I don't know, but
Come on,
it's
Canada, get it together.
but I guess their postal guys can go on strike in Canada or something. But and those are things, again, as a small business, you don't realize how sometimes, we spent $800-900 in shipping to Canada. All of a sudden it's like, what do we do with these boxes? But
Right.
anyway, it's fun because we get to share, again, a little bit of Nebraska with people all over the country, and we've had some great feedback, and that's an important part of our business right now this time of the year, is that business to business or business to clients, that type of thing. And I'm running around. I'm helping out a lot this time of the year. I just do whatever I'm told, but I'm packing boxes and making deliveries, and it's a busy time of the year for us, but that's good. And it, like I said, again, it's fun to share Nebraska, and besides the business part of it, it's just enjoyable to hear what people have to say about the boxes and the gifts they get.
Well, and I think it's cool too, because we're supporting local businesses, and that's what it's all
Absolutely.
about. I remember in that box, I think we had some coffee from the mill, which was fantastic. I love the mill coffee.
Absolutely.
And then there were the meltaways, which are evil. You open up the box and it's like, I'm gonna have one.
Who doesn't love Baker's chocolate?
Oh
I mean,
my gosh.
Can you drive to Greenwood and leave with like less than $100 of chocolate? I don't think you can.
Yeah, and can you get it home is the question, or is it all eaten before you get to the house? I mean, it's good stuff.
I mean, the key thing this time of year is if you do drive to Greenwood for the Baker's chocolates, which is awesome. A lot of people don't realize they have a candy counter, and Travis, I kind of think of you as you might be a chocolate covered Nutter Butter guy, and they're not expensive, and that's what you should consume on the way home.
Gosh, I haven't even thought of
That's
that.
good stuff. No, Baker's is great. And that's the cool thing about the shop down here, is that we represent so many of those small businesses from all across the state, jams and jellies and chocolates and meat, buffalo from way out west. And it's fun because we're helping those small businesses market themselves, because people can come to our store in person or online, and instead of going to each and every one of these individual businesses, and we can put it all together for them. And that's cool. And like I said earlier, I mean, you'd be amazed at all the incredible small businesses and some of the products they make.
The meat counter was a shocker to me, and you'll think this is hilarious. So my mother, from a farmer's market in Omaha, met someone who stocks the meat counter, and they're like, well, you can get it this year round in Lincoln at the From Nebraska store. And so my mom's in town, and she's like, oh, we got to go to this From Nebraska store, and I'm like, but Mom, they don't sell. What are you talking about? That's weird.
Yeah, that's a
But
great story.
it's
That's
awesome.
two young men from up I'm trying the Albion area, and they graduated and they want to go back to the family farm, but of course, grandpa's still farming, and dad and uncle. And so what they did is they do some farming, but they do a custom beef,
Mm-hmm.
and it's called Upstream beef. And so we carry their meat, and they also they're getting a distillery going too. So I'm excited to see what comes of that. But it's stories like that that we get almost on a daily or weekly basis from these again, small business owners that are just doing things that you're like doing what in Valentine, but they're doing it. Popcorn. We get a ton of popcorn from Valentine.
Oh wow.
And
it's good popcorn. It's
great
awesome.
popcorn. In fact, our best selling item in the whole store, and I don't know if y'all seen it, but it looks like it's a corn cob, but it has popcorn. You pop the shell or the kernels right off the cob.
Oh, really?
So you stick in the microwave. It looks like a corn cob, and you stick in the microwave, and it pops popcorn.
Oh, wow.
We sell so much of that. Yeah. And that comes from around Central City area and up in Valentine area. And so it's, like I said, it's amazing, all these fun products.
And what a cool gift that would be, especially for people who are out of state.
Yes.
Because the one thing that I always laugh at is, not being from here, being from back east, where there are no farms, right? I mean, there's farms, but there's not many of them. And most people have no clue where the corn comes from. It's just in the can. Don't you just pluck it right off the tree, still in the can? That would be a neat gift to send out. So can business owners come down to the shop and go, I want some jelly, got to have the corn on the cob, I got, and then put it together and go, give me 50 of these and you ship them out? How does it work?
We take care of everything. We have a couple different options. We already have baskets that we put together on a regular basis. And so you can come in and say, yeah, I really like that. And we'll you give us the mailing addresses. We take care of everything.
Oh, wow.
From start to finish. Or if you come in and say, hey, here's my budget, what can you do? Barb will come up with 7 or 8 different options with different items, and then you can pick whatever you want, and she'll put them together, customize them for you. And again, just hand us your mailing list, and Eden, my daughter Eden, actually, she types them all in.
God bless her.
All the FedEx addresses, and we, like I said, we take care of them from start to finish. So we try to make it as painless as possible.
So you could be very well a one-stop shop for people who are doing Christmas shopping for family out of town.
We are.
Outstanding. Well, guess who's going to the shop right after the show? Because I've got a list. So
and Travis, your wife is a Christmas person, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh, she might need some new ornaments.
Yeah,
I think you're going to be
send her
shocked
down there, but then that could get expensive.
And I love just walking through that Christmas shop, and I'll look at it and it's like, I didn't know we had that. And so, but and Pam probably attested, it is a really cool Christmas area.
It's really pretty. And so I'm going to say, as an engineer, as far as laying stuff out, that is really not my deal. And so I do appreciate that as Barb organizes the store. I mean, she obviously has some talent at laying things out and making things look good. She's awesome. Okay. Stop it. And that it's talent that I just don't have. I'm like, oh, hey, I'll set this in a box right here. And it just doesn't work out.
She does a great job down there. She really does. And like I said earlier, she knows how to merchandise, and she knows how to put things together, and she knows what people want and what's going to sell. And that is a gift. That's a talent that she possesses, and that works out very well down there.
So you said the Christmas store is open year round.
Mm-hmm.
And how does that do it? Because I think of, for me, Christmas it's at Christmas time, maybe end of October. That's about it. Does it do well year round?
Does
July?
Year round, it does. I mean, this time of the year, of course, it's at its peak.
Sure.
But it does well year round. In fact, it's probably one of our best profit centers on a monthly basis.
Wow. That's fantastic. So for people who haven't been there, where's it at? I know it's in the Haymarket.
It's at 8th and Q in the Haymarket, in the Huber building. We're right next to Screamer's Restaurant, and across the street from like Buzzard Billy's and Brewski's.
Okay.
Right there. It's a great location, a great people watching location too, especially on football Saturdays. But, and it has all those items I just talked about. Plus, we sell a lot of t-shirts and things of that nature, but it's not a typical, I mean, there's some great stores here in town that sell the Husker gear.
Right.
And we have a little bit of that, but ours are more geared toward the state of Nebraska, the city of Lincoln. Most of the football and basketball stuff we have are fun t-shirts. Like my favorite this year was "This is our year, I hope." Things like that, or when Coach Rule said, was it kegs, eggs, and football? Let's go.
Yeah.
They had a t-shirt out the next day, and we sold the heck out of that. So it's interesting stuff like that. It's more Nebraska branded items that are just a lot of fun. Our best seller for the last few years has been, build a wall and make Iowa pay for it.
I own that t-shirt.
Yeah. So it's things like that are a lot of fun to have down there, besides all the great items that are made here in Nebraska.
My son bought me last year, because we're Cleveland Browns fans, right? And he bought me a shirt and it said, "This is our year," and it's scratched out. And below it says, "This is our year," and it's scratched out. And it's all the way down the front of the shirt, because it's never going to be our year.
It's okay. It's still a great team, right?
No, we're not.
But, guys, I love the Huskers, whether they win.
Oh, the Huskers. We're talking about the Browns.
Yeah, we're talking about the Browns.
We're talking about the Browns.
Oh, the Browns.
Yeah,
whatever.
No, they're terrible.
No, the Huskers. We love Nebraska football, basketball. We love anything Husker, and it's amazing. And you guys know this, but it's amazing that how well downtown, not just from Nebraska Earshot, but how well downtown restaurants, retail, how well they do in comparison to how well the football team's doing. When they were winning earlier this year, and they're winning later on, we had some of our best days ever, because people are so excited about your team and they're winning. And it's amazing how the economy is driven by that success of the team.
Do you sell more wine when they lose? Or when they could, because you could see it go, "Hey, let's celebrate, get a bottle of wine," and then it's
we do sell a little bit more when they lose. And then the other interesting thing, there's a new law just passed in the legislature in January that we can now sell other products. Before, by state law, we could only sell what we make.
Okay.
And so we still just sell our wine down there, but we started carrying Nebraska beer and Nebraska spirits.
Oh, very
And so
cool.
we're going to carry other product, but it's all going to be Nebraska made. And so again, now it takes me back to when we first started the winery. We have people coming in and they're looking at some of the spirits, some of the bourbons and the whiskeys and the vodkas and et cetera that are made here in Nebraska. And they're like, you can do that here in Nebraska? What? And it's fun to talk about those and sell those, as well as a lot of the local beers as well.
Well, we have one more break coming up, and then when we come back, let's talk a little bit more about maybe some events and out at the vineyard. And you are listening to 93.7 The Ticket in the LIBA Business Hour, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Trooper Ty with the Nebraska State Patrol. Winter weather can create dangerous driving conditions on Nebraska roadways. It's critical that you understand the conditions before hitting the road. Nebraska's 511 system provides updates on the road conditions, road closure, live camera views from across the state, and you can even track where plows are on state highways. And if you become stranded on the road, call star 55 and we'll send a trooper to help. Thank you and drive safe, Nebraska.
This message presented by the Nebraska State Patrol, the Nebraska Broadcasters Association, and the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Bagels and Joe is the perfect place for breakfast or lunch in December. Try one of their delicious breakfast sandwiches or grilled breakfast burritos. Don't forget to snag a gift card for stocking stuffers and bring your family in from out of town. 4 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Seward. Bagels and Joe.
Go Hog Wild Pet Barbecue.
It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a 1-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
I'm Steve Carper, and I'm here to tell you that there's never been a better time to buy flooring. Whether you need carpet, wood flooring, ceramic tile, vinyl, area rugs, or custom blinds, you gotta come to O Street Carpet. With our 12-month interest-free financing, you can do one room or your whole house and leave your holiday budget intact. And with our huge in-stock selection, you can buy today and we'll install it right away. 1732 O Street. We want to make you a customer for life.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
It's the holiday season. Time for work parties, friend get-togethers, family gatherings, which means lots of eating. Maybe you think you've perfected your holiday meals, and maybe you have no idea where to even start. Let's fix that right now. No holiday party is complete without Führer's cheese spread. It goes well with any type of cracker, pretzels, apples, chili, vegetables, chips, and of course, it's perfect to pair with wine or beer. Holiday meals aren't complete until Führer's cheese spread is on the table. Find your own container at your nearest local grocery store today.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Back to the LIBA Business Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This segment sponsored by Ascend Aesthetics.
And you're back for the last segment of the LIBA Business Hour. We're talking with Jim Ballard. So before we move on to the vineyard, the From Nebraska Gift Shop, what's the website?
FromNE.com.
Okay, I'm glad you remembered that. So
I think that's what it is.
Now, can you go online
You
and
just
order?
Google From Nebraska Gift Shop
There
just
you
to
go.
be
That's
safe.
what I do. I even Google when I'm looking for it. I don't even type in the .com because I'm that lazy. So, and you can order things online.
You can, yep, we have a online presence, and you can sure do that.
Very good. And now back to the vineyard. You guys do a lot of events up there beyond weddings, right?
We do. And again, early on, we're a winery and we sell wine, but we're a destination, and so part of that is that we do a lot of events. And my whole hope is to bring people out. They have a good time. Again, it's that experience, and that then they'll come back with their family or friends, and we've created a lifelong customer. But we do, one year I counted it up between private events and events that we put on. We do well over 200 events a year.
Oh my goodness.
And there are some weekends we may do a wedding in the morning, a luncheon, bridal shower luncheon in the afternoon, and then do live music at night on a Saturday. So we're doing a lot of events, and we do them year round. In fact, right now, this is kind of my favorite time of the year. We've got live music going at the winery today from like 1 to 4 or 2 to 5, 2 to 5 it is, but it's Christmas music. And so we have a solo artist. His name's Jerry Rennell. He's playing today, and got the fireplaces going. He's playing Christmas music, and
nice
spice hot mulled wine going, and bring out some cookies. And it's just so relaxing and a lot of fun. But we'll do anything from 5-course meals, winemaker dinners, to murder mysteries, which Miss Dingman knows a lot about since she's acted in a few of those. So
he's using acting very, very casually,
to our wine and food pairings, to our junk food and wine pairings.
I want to do that.
We try all sorts of things. Our biggest events are we do live music every Saturday evening from the 1st of May until the end of August. And then in September, we do Sundays because there's a little thing called Nebraska football we can't compete with on Saturdays. But we get a lot of people out for that. So again, we're just trying to create these events to keep people coming out, to keep James Arthur Vineyards at top of mind for them, and they're just they can be a lot of fun as well. There's a lot of work. Events are a lot of work, but they're a lot of fun. And like I said, we're trying to create some lifelong customers and people that just continue to come out, even if we're not having events.
Yeah. Do people go online to see like a calendar of events?
Yeah, we will have our calendar up. We usually create our whole calendar for the year, our calendar for the whole year in the end of January, 1st of February. And we may tweak it a little bit during the year. And then people can see what we have going. And then we do a lot of private events, a lot of corporate events. Mm-hmm. We do for large corporations here in town. We do, the latest one we just had a blast with it. What Kawasaki did I think it was their 50th anniversary.
Oh, wow.
Wow. I had no idea.
They brought in the night before their big event, they did a steak fry out at our place. And so it was wine and steak, and they brought in all their top executives from Japan, and it was just a lot of fun. So we do a lot of things like that. I think we've become bridal shower central. I mean, we do a lot of bridal showers out there for young ladies that just get engaged. They do their bridal showers out there.
I mean,
or
for the
their
record,
bridal-
I don't need any more stuff.
But it's just a fun place for those events to happen. And so I always say we've tried just about everything once. And I used to say except for a funeral, but we've done some celebrations of life recently. So we've done just about everything, and we've tried everything, like I said, at least once.
Very cool. So
Awesome.
like I keep getting hung up on this junk food thing because I'm so going to it this year. I don't know why. This sounds like crazy awesome to me.
Travis, you're just one classy guy.
You know me. Yeah. I ooze class, right? So do you sell like tickets to some of these events, or
Some events are ticketed, so you can go online. We always start selling tickets 30 days before the event online. But like a live music, there's no cover or anything like that. A lot of our events are free and open to the public.
Very cool. So I can buy a ticket to Dingman's wedding when she goes up there, or
I don't know. That's the golden ticket
maybe
right
I
there.
should
That's the
sell
golden
tickets.
It's an
ticket.
idea. There you go. There's a new idea for you. So website.
Yep, jamesarthurvineyards.com. It has a listing of all of our events on there, as well as information about our wines, about us.
And you can actually buy wine on the website.
You can.
Can you ship it to all 50 states?
There are some states that I cannot ship to legally.
Okay. Well, we're not worried about those states. So get on, check. Because I saw there was a what state are you shipping to? Yep. So you can click on it. We'll let you know. And yeah. So thank you so much for coming in and talking.
It's a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
Good seeing you. We might see you next week, depending on how Gary is recovering. So
I'll be available to be the stand-in for Gary.
Fantastic. You're listening to LIBA Business Hour. Have a great weekend.
Slay the holidays this year with a gift